Cashmere bro just got out. Bought him shoes and clothes, a zipper drawer, a couple $100, then he knocked him a go. I'm macking on the bitch cause it's necessary. She bought a nigga Gucci and Cartier. I'm tryna go to Boston, there's money there. I'm rolling up a chop in a barber chair. Sprinter van with the TV. Every real P need one of these. I'm from the slums, but shit can get real. You gotta be from the Bay to know how I feel. I'm not famous, I'm just a real ass nigga. Who needs a record deal when you know how to get it? They tryna book Uncle Larry overseas, but for that, bitch, I need 20 G's. Smoking on a chop with the top down.
What's up? What's up? What's up? This is Doc, aka Dr. Lariat, aka I know you didn't watch Martin growing up because y'all too young, but I did. Aka Unc Howdy, aka the Big Boss Monong, aka Yan Yan Bigelow, aka Big Scran Vader, aka Jacko Chundaliga, aka Ultimo Dragon Fruit, aka The Great Swag Skay, aka Pete Gas Break Dip, aka you know what it is, it's Magnum Suchio. I get dirty up in here, aka man, the Chow main event, aka I love you solo Suka, aka Jacob Puto, aka ain't nobody realer than Perilla, aka the good Bow Boy, yeah, aka oh man, Suman Reigns, acknowledge me, aka down since day one ish, aka welcome to the Puso Penitentiary. And when I say Poos, y'all say so. Poos.
So.
Poos.
So.
Chihoo! aka your host. And I'm here. I'm blessed today to have with me this man who's 6'7". You know, that's a then wrestler.
I'm 6'4". I'm not that tall.
Hey. Kayfabe, brother. You know, he'd be like 6'5" in the ring. They'd be all looking up at him. You know, he'd be I call him chocolate skyscraper. He is.
Oh my god.
He's out here. He's out here from Florida. He's representing. You know, like, and I gotta say, man, from the beginning of the time when I first watched your show back in like 2018, 2017, compared to now, this man, I mean, not that you weren't sexy before, because I find big men sexy. I find big women sexy. Y'all know me. I love them. I love thick. I'm a big back boy. I love all of that. You know what I'm saying? And this boy, he got himself so sexy. I mean, I gotta give you props, man. That CrossFit, that Seth Rollins stuff that you're doing, it's working. I see you. Welcome to the show.
Oh man.
One half of the Blackest podcast and all that, gonna kick all ass. We got with us James Boyd in the building. How you doing? Welcome.
I'm doing all right. It's funny because like everybody says it's CrossFit. It's kind of like CrossFit. It's not exactly CrossFit. Like I might start doing CrossFit again next year, but we'll see.
All right. Bet. I want to say thank you for getting. You're the second person to do the Puso bit with me. Everyone else just stays quiet. They're just like they got their arms crossed, so like then they're just looking around because they don't know if they're supposed to talk. And I'm like, yo,
I didn't want to fuck you. I didn't want to fuck up your flow. Like obviously he was doing it. It's called a response. So I had to respond. You know.
Yeah. So I'm so happy that happened. I'm happy you're here with me. Yo, it's a good day. It's a Friday, and I'm just happy to have. I'll say this, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I know you've been like, look. If you look through my podcast, if you look through my gallery, and you notice, you'll see some names on there. You'll see Imp. You'll see Rich Lotta. You'll see Jeremy Donovan. You'll see you'll see Trish of Trish and Sarah. I mean, and like you'll even see this. Oh man, you'll even see Sir Sam, and like maybe one day I'll get Sarah. Maybe one day I'll get any of the Tunnel Talk girls. Maybe one day I'll get Chris from Wrestling Art. Not to say that I'm glazing all y'all as Social Suplex. Not to say that I'm using y'all. I'm just saying like I'm a fan of y'all, and like it's an honor for me to have any one of you, especially to have the other half of One Nation Radio, my favorite wrestling podcast. I know I said that about keeping a strong style, but you know, I could say that y'all are my favorite sports podcast, and that's true because the only reason I know anything about college football is y'all, and that makes me feel so good to have you on here. And like, I respect all your guys' positions on wrestling, on sports, politics. Yeah, it's like it's very rare for me to like vibe with a show that like says everything I want to say culturally and like that's relevant to me culturally because when it comes to this space, this wrestling space, especially this wrestling podcast space, most of the I hate to say this, most of the voices of wrestling are usually like white folk. Thank you, Andrew Thompson, for giving me that term, white folk. And like just to like have these guests on, and it's illustrious, and I feel blessed to have you on here, James. Like you have no idea.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Like, we've been doing it for a while, so like, just talk to anybody that like is giving us a listen and get feedback, and hear about like their appreciation for the show. Like we enjoy it, me and Rich both. So definitely, thank you so much. So it's funny because the show when we started, it was kind of just like we first started as like a conversation where me and Rich we just kind of just had these conversations over the phone, and we were like, let's just record them. It's seeing there's somewhat entertaining. Let's see if we can put it in a format in a way to where other people can listen to it. And then it grew into us getting back into pro wrestling, where it kind of just delved into mostly being about pro wrestling. And then as WWE kind of went, up and down and up and down and down and down and down and down and up and back down, we decided to venture out to other places. And Rich said, let's check out New Japan. Let's check out Wrestle Kingdom 9. Blew us away. And then that kind of took us on the path towards watching wrestling outside of WWE. And now pretty much we don't cover WWE except for when they do pay-per-views at this point.
Hey man, I talked to so many people, and the thing is, there's so much wrestling out there. You don't have to cover just one thing. You don't have to cover just AEW. You don't have to cover just New Japan. You don't have to cover just WWE. There's so much to talk about, and like one of the things that you became over the years is like you became one of the preeminent voices of Joshi. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it because it's true. You know it's true. You know it's true.
So the funny thing about that is shout out to Sierra Reed from formerly of PW Ponderings. Like me, her, and Rich all connected through just doing the show, and she would come on and give us her time to drop some game on things she was watching when she was covering Joshi. And like while she was telling about this stuff, I just never got into it. And then basically what happened was I saw the first Mae Young Classic on the WWE Network, and I was blown away with Kyrie at the time. And then I found out there were two other ones that were as good or better. And then the next year, EO showed up at the second Mae Young Classic, and I was equally about as impressed. I don't think she had as good of a showing as Kyrie had the first year, but I was like, there's another one that's still over there. Then I saw the match of those three versus in Lucha Underground versus Penta, and I was sold. And I basically was like, by that point in time, Sierra was out the game covering it, and I was like, I'm going to pick it up, start watching. So basically, at the end of 2018, I started looking around of like, all right, just looking online, and it was it was a lot more obscure because it wasn't the Wrestle universe where there was Tokyo Joshi Pro you could watch, and there was also you could watch Sendai, and you could watch Marvelous and Marigold. Marigold wasn't even the thing. It was like, all right, this is something that I've never watched before outside of seeing Aja Kong or Akira Hokuto or a couple other people that I'm familiar with as a kid over here in America. I don't know what any of this is, so just picked it up, started watching, and I basically fell on to watching Stardom. And then when I saw Stardom, it picked up. That was a basically kind of perfect time. Beginning of the year, the first Cork and Hall show. Um, they had a really good show. And then by the point in time, by the time we got to like around WrestleMania season, I had told Rich about it enough to where he was like, all right, because that year they were in WrestleMania was in New York, so Stardom had a show in New York. I convinced him and Jeremy from Keep It Strong Style to go, and they were I was one of those things where it was like, all right, I've been speaking up on this a lot as far as like this, we should watch this or whatever else. And then they were so impressed with the show that like me and Rich eventually got into covering it by the time we got to June is when we started covering it for on a consistent basis. And while that was happening, I was also reading stuff, different people, finding other places, other spots for Joshi, whether it was Tokyo Joshi Pro or it was Seedling, where I was like, I'm gonna check this stuff out regularly, but like it's 2 shows a week for Stardom. From what my vantage point of it is, the wrestling that I prefer the most was Seedling main events had Naya Takahashi in them or Arisa Nakajima in Stardom. So I stuck with that mostly, and then that basically carried me through pretty much until about around 2023. Basically, when the 2023 Grand Prix when everyone got hurt, it's kind of where I fell off as far as following it all the time. We're watching every single show, but like when there's a big show, we're still going to check it out and whatever else, and we still keep our ear to the ground, to the street as far as what's going on. But like it's just been a lot's changed for me personally over the last couple of years. So I don't cover Stardom or Joshi as much nearly, but like when there's waves or someone's moving around, we still try to cover it.
Yeah.
Like it's weird where it's like the 5-star Grand Prix just ended last weekend, and like I haven't even seen the final yet. I still haven't figured out how to be unspoiled on it. I still don't know who won, but I've just a year ago that would have been insane. There's no way we would not have talked about it.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. And what's crazy is also they're kind of hot right now. So it's like,
oh, they're very hot.
It's they're I think what's the news is they're like the second biggest besides New Japan.
Yeah, that's been the case for them about 2-3 years now.
Yeah,
but now even post Mayu and Tam and Utami and Julia, like they are hotter than they've ever been right now.
Yeah, it's because Saya is like she's a star for them, and
she's tapped into something that that just in the Joshi space just hasn't been around.
Yeah, and
she's a flat out superstar.
She's a star in Joshi, and then she's a star on those variety shows. And what people don't know about those variety shows is like those are big in Japan. Like when we talk about that, I talk about like you brought up Akira Hokuto earlier, like Akira Hokuto and Kensuke Sasaki. Those are 2 legendary names in pro wrestling worldwide. Those are 2 names, but the whole reason they're still popular to this day in Japan, like because I talked to my friend Chong Ching about this. Chongqing, yes, not Ching Chong, about this. Like he said, like because his wife is Japanese and they watch it, and then like his wife knows them as the married wrestlers. So like, and they got married like 94, 95. So them still being
relevant. I mean, they got married quick. I mean, and also that Dave Meltzer will tell you every chance he gets about that.
He loves that story. That's such a love story. You talk about being stiff. You talk about Joshi screaming during the match. Yo, we but yeah, they're popular based on them being on variety shows, and I'm just like, yeah, so her being on this, and then I remember like I think like the Stardom girls doing the rap from that anime Mashal that was getting a little bit viral, and like that's cool. I like it when these girls have this opportunity to, or any kind of wrestlers have an opportunity to show out and get like fame in another way. Because it's kind of hard to like stand out in pro wrestling, especially when pro wrestling itself is not a hot business right now. So all props to Saya, all props to Taro Okada. Y'all are doing good work, and I appreciate it. Besides that, like I always ask this question. This is the first question I ask. Is like, so how'd you get into wrestling?
Quite honestly, it was kind of just my family thing. Like I have like I have an older cousin named Eric, and when I grew up, I thought Eric, he was the closest thing I had to like an older brother. Like he was just like, to me, just like the coolest motherfucker in the world. And like the 2 things I picked up from him really are like my Yankees fandom. And I don't watch baseball as much anymore, so I'm not as diehard as it used to be. And then the wrestling, like I remember specifically, like there was a WCW match between Vader and Sting, and I'm rooting for Sting
My
like
guys.
crazy, and Vader bombs him, and just like, and they basically had to stretch her out, did a stretcher job for Sting, and I was being devastated, like, and then from there it turned. I was always I remember being a big fan of Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan at the time because I didn't know any better. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just
It happens.
that pretty much was my childhood. And then as times change, you pick up Brett and Shawn, and then you pick up Austin and Rock, and you pick up Goldberg and other people here and there, Rey Mysterio Jr. And that's basically was a huge part of my life. Like I was a kid that like would have a VHS recording. Like I was fortunate to where like we had multiple TVs now, so like I would watch whichever one was the hottest show between Nitro or Raw, and then like I would watch that live, and then I would record the other one on VHS, and then like I'd wake up early in the morning and like watch it before going to school that Tuesday, and then like I would give the tape out to whoever. I was basically tape trading when I realized tape trading. I was giving whoever was my class like, hey, Cody, after you get that to Reed when you done, get that to Justin. By the way, giving these names, like I went to a white school, but yeah, like that's kind of how it went. And
That's
then
cool, man.
by the time we got to like 2000, like my interest kind of changed. Like I got more into NFL football, which wasn't a thing before until like I saw Randy Moss first time as a rookie, and I was like, "What is this? I've never seen anything like this before." And then from there, it just like Triple H beat The Rock at WrestleMania, Rock and Foley and Big Show at WrestleMania 2000. I was like, I don't need to watch this anymore. This is dumb. This is just dumb. It made no sense. This is stupid. And I didn't watch wrestling again until WrestleMania 25 on delay. I didn't even watch that live.
Like when I watched Raw before, I would watch Raw and Nitro at the same time, but I had picture in picture, right? On the
Oh,
big
okay.
screen TVs. Not
You
not
got
that we
yes,
were
yes,
rich.
he did.
My dad got those TVs out the backside of a truck.
All right, well, can we go back in time
Allegedly.
and give me one of them?
Yeah, so like we were watching. I would watch it like back and forth until I realized that they had a Nitro playing like at 5 p.m. But because like I lived on the West Coast, so they had the live show playing at the at the first time.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
find that out because I was doing Taekwondo at the time, and then like
Okay.
the one time that I couldn't go to Taekwondo was Razor Ramon shows up on the Nitro in his vest.
Oh, wow, okay.
That's the first like week I just couldn't go to Taekwondo because like my dad couldn't come home early enough to take us, so I'm just watching Nitro live and I'm like, oh shit, that's Razor Ramon, and then you want a war, you got, and then like I'm just like, yo, and that's like one of my core memories of pro wrestling. My other core memory is when Ron Simmons hit that power slam on Big Van Vader, and that's the first world title match I watched. Like I say
Oh, wow.
live. That's like the first one I watched like live and I can remember. So seeing Ron Simmons, one of my favorite guys, hit that power slam on Vader, who's like one of the biggest monsters ever, and like it was tremendous. I love that stuff. Cause like, and you say you got it from your family and from your big cousin. Like I was the big cousin that everybody watched wrestling. So
Okay.
it was so like I got you, man. Like because my little cousins they all end up watching wrestling because I forced them to because I got to control the TV because I'm big cousin, and my little brother too. And then like it's just something in our family that like we all kind of still bond on. We still make jokes about it. We still like if somebody brings in a Nintendo 64, we'll be like bet. And I'm gonna pick Mr. Ass because Mr. Ass hit that Fameasser and it's over.
Which game was this?
No
Which
mercy.
game was this?
No mercy.
Oh yeah. Miss Ass was a problem on New Mercy.
Yeah.
So like you mentioned that about the family thing, and like that was one thing. Like me, like I don't want to forget this part. Like I also have a cousin that is 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
And like, but our cousin Eric, his name's Alex, but our cousin Eric, like he's like almost like 10 years older than us, right? So it was a lot of we were just basically like our cool cousin is spending time with us, and that's cool. So we're watching all that kind of stuff, and then like basically me and Alex were basically just like whether it was wrestling or it was the music or whatever else, we were just basically just all sharing this stuff back and forth based off of what Eric was doing or whatever else and listening to stuff. And then like, I was 2 years younger. So like Eric was kind of like, more like an uncle than a cousin at times. And then like, but Alex is 2 years older. So a lot of that was like, he was like the bridge person. So like a lot of stuff that like my mom would tell her nephew, Eric, not to share with me, he would share with Alex, and then just me and Alex were always together, so like it would naturally still get to me anyway. So like I'm sitting here at like 9 listening to 18 or 9 or 8 listening to 80 aliens and shit, like so it was stuff like that was happening. And then like so when the pay-per-views were coming around, like Alex, his my uncle like and my auntie, like they had one of those scrambler boxes. You get the illegal pay-per-views.
Yeah,
so, like,
my uncle had that.
So every month, like I was going, or twice a month, I was going for WCW, WWE pay-per-views, and then like eventually my mom got one of those as well. And then like by that time, ECW, I started seeing ECW pay-per-views. I didn't know what the hell that was. Actually, I was having a conversation with Rich about it the other day about like I had the scrambler and I just saw the wrestling on, and I was like, wait, every single one of these matches are no DQ? Who is RVD guy? He's incredible. He's like their Shawn Michaels. That's incredible.
Yo, yeah.
That's kind of how it went for me.
People don't know how back in the day how RVD hit. For me as a kid, like I didn't even think about the smoking. I just did like this dude with a ponytail doing spin kicks, wearing like this cool like the airbrush tights, and he did like because I loved Jean-Claude Van Damme as a kid, and I was like,
I never made that connection. I never made that connection when I was that age. And I had seen Bloodsport. That's nuts.
He does the same kick that Van Damme does, like in every movie, that spin kick.
Right.
And it's like when he goes, Rob Van, it's the Van Damme kick, and it's like, and like, that's why he was one of my favorites, because like I said, like, that's like Jean-Claude if Jean-Claude was a wrestler, but it's like people don't get like how he would jump into the crowd. He comes out to that dope theme. Like when he came out in AEW to walk, I was like, okay, this is the real. He didn't come out to that TNA song. He came out to the real walk, and I was like, oh, okay, this feels right. Shame about him being bought off, but that always happens to the unks. That always happens to the old men.
Yep.
They get bought off, and they got. But I just love that era of wrestling, the '90s, and then it brings me back to like what you said, sharing with my cousins. I had older cousins too. They were into it also. And then we talk about training stuff, say training music, talk about AT aliens, throw your hands in the air, wave them like you just don't like that. We traded the rap music. I loved Wu-Tang, Killer Bees. I love the backpack hip hop is what we all kind of traded up in, like hieroglyphics, beat nuts. I love Jurassic 5, but that probably my love for Jurassic 5 is probably because of Jet Grind Radio. But like that kind of hip hop spoke to me. Well, hip hop speaks to me in general. Like I'm from the West Coast. I love Death Row, Dub C, Mac 10, freaking Ice Cube. I love Snoop Dogg.
What's your take on E40?
I love E40. I'm about to go ahead and talk like E40. He's
okay.
I think he's like one of the. He's a really. I love his flow. I give respect to the Bay Area rap, like him, Corrupt. I love Warren G. I love. Have you ever heard to like Master P's? Because Master P is the one who created like hyphy music. He's the one that came into the Bay Area and kind of came up with he was a part of that movement of making the Bay, Bay thing. So I have love for my Bay Area. So I love E40. I love Too Short. I love Dre Mac. I don't really like G-Eazy, but it is what it is.
He's fine.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Yeah. But I love hip hop music. Like that's what we traded in. I love R&B. That I think this month I went to the Boyz II Men concert and it was all four of them. It was all four of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Normally your boy doesn't tour.
Yeah, so what happened was he was sitting 2 rows ahead of us. We didn't know because he's wearing a hoodie, he's wearing a hat, incognito. I'm not paying attention because I'm paying attention to the thing. And then all of a sudden they said, "Hey, ladies and gentlemen, blah blah blah," and we're talking about our brother Mike, and then Spotlight, what's up? And I'm like,
Okay.
oh, because like I'm like, like how everybody says everything is pro wrestling. Like, oh, that was pro wrestling right there, and he got that big
Yeah.
return pop, and they're like, yeah, so we haven't sung together in 20 years, and then they went right to like, End of the Road and I'll Make Love to You, and I was like, dang. And it was all smooth too, so I was like, "Oh, this is." And then my wife was like, "Oh my god, I didn't even know," because like she thought it was only going to be the three of them because that's how it is.
Right,
then,
right.
like, when he popped
That's
up,
how it's been.
that's how
That's how it's
been.
been.
So like,
Because he had some type of illness or had some type of illness. That's
Yeah.
why he kind of
Yeah.
I forgot what it was. I forgot what Michael's situation was, but it was some type of situation where that's why he had the cane. That's why he
Yeah.
always had the cane in the music videos even back in the 90s.
yeah,
So like it wasn't like he got kicked out or anything. He just couldn't. I think he just couldn't do keep up with the obligation. So when he started doing the residencies in Vegas and everything, he wasn't there. Like
Yeah.
I went to Vegas in 2000, I want to say 17, and like I saw the marquee and it was just it was it was Wanye and Sean and what's your boy's name? I forgot the first Nathan.
Yeah.
And Nathan. It was no Michael.
Yeah, so I was so happy to see that because I was like, this was my favorite. This is my favorite R&B group of all time, and like I just resigned myself. Okay, it's the four of them. It's the three of them. That's cool. It's still Boys to Men. And then when it was the four of them, I was like, I think my wife said I was kind of crying, grown ass man crying. I was like,
Okay.
I was like, oh my god, I did. This is my wife making fun of you. You were crying, because you're like, you can't believe it that he's here to sing, and because like I'm like, yeah, this is my favorite group, and and like I was like, yeah, so I was like feeling that stuff. You asked me about how I feel about E40. I want to ask you how you feel about E40.
I feel like it's a generational thing. Like, so for me, I have an appreciation for him because of like a lot of the Bay guys they have a lot of grind in them in a similar way to like a lot of Southern guys did, as far as like, hey,
Yeah.
we're willing to go on the road, do shows anywhere, sell the shit out of our trunk or whatever else. Like there's this ethos is like just all put together throughout like basically everything except for up north, where it's like all of them had to grind to get it because they did not have that kind of infrastructure that, basically where all the labels are up in New York City. All they got to do is stick their head out the window and say, and basically hand someone a deal, or whoever is a DJ running whatever club at that point in time is what's going to get burned. Because it's very similar. If you look back at it, the way that rap kind of had the stranglehold New York had on rap, it created their, goes without saying, but like as far as like the commercial rap industry, like it was very similar to like New York in like WWE, as far as like they just have the ground game. Like it's like from DC to New York or to Boston or whatever else. Like that is kind of how it was with when it came to the rap game. Where it was like, all right, there's no internet. They're the most populated city. Rap started there. Every music exec that's ever going to find anybody, they're not going to go to LA or to Chicago. They may here and there, but they're more likely going to find like the seventh rap group or the seventh rapper that's at this particular club at the Tunnel than they are, to go to Miami or to even Houston. And later, these places popped up regionally, got bubbled up while they expanded out, the rap world. But it's still like that's kind of how it was. And then as the internet has changed, it's kind of like, okay, well, it's a black art form. Most of the black people in this country live in the geographic South. That kind of turned the tide. So back to what I was saying, back to E40, like it's a generational thing. Like I have an appreciation for him he was getting down on records. He was getting on Lil Jon Eastside Boy records.
Yeah.
Like he would work with, a person like Big Crit, who I think is one of the great contemporary rappers of this era, right? Like he will rap over anything.
Yeah.
I appreciate the work ethic. It's kind of similar to Lil Russell, whereas like I appreciate the grind. It's not necessarily my thing. It's not something I'm going to turn on all the time, but there are records I absolutely like. Hey. And I also think it's a generational thing where like if you're my age or younger, you might think he's whack. If you're older, you like, no, this man's a real game spitter.
That's because like I always say this. I'm 40, so like E40 is like right up in my alley.
Yeah.
You know, like, and especially like 2005 when "Tell Me Where to Go, Tell Me Where to Go, Tell Me Where to," like that,
Right.
like that song. Like if you're over here in California when that hit, and like people were just like going crazy in the streets. They were
It
ghost
hit here.
riding. Yeah, that song is just like it's an anthem, and like I always say this because like I know it's from the Bay Area, but it's California. But I know when that song hits, like it's like, okay, it's time to go. Like it's similar to how I feel when I hear "Nothing But a G Thing." Like when you hear that, you're like, okay, and like now when you hear like when you hear Kendrick and you know, and that song plays, you're just like, okay, yeah, I'm bopping my head. I'm like, when Kendrick did the Super Bowl, I was so proud to have this dude from LA go out there and represent LA, represent California, like, and that's how I feel about it. And I know like generations and all that stuff. Like people talk about Future. I'm not really big on Future. I wasn't really big on like Migos on that stuff because I'm an old head, like you said, generational. So, but like, you know, I respect the work they did. I respect the beats they made. I respect all of that. So like for me, it's all love because an artist is artist, and as music grows and music evolves, tastes change, and like it passes me by. Like that's what happens.
That's the one thing I try to remember when it comes to like newer acts whenever I hear them. Because like, you know, when I first heard, you know, Future, I was like, he's rapping over some incredible beats. I also can't understand what he's saying sometimes. And that comes from me as a person that listens to all the Atlanta rap. So it's like if I can't understand you and you like, look, I can understand all of the musical acts that your big cousin Rico Wade helped produce from you know, because he's a member of Organized Noise, right? If I can listen to all them, if I can listen to Backbone, I can listen to Cujo Goody, I can understand all of them. Why can't I understand your ass and you're younger, right? That was a problem for me at times, right? So, but over time, it's one of those things where it's like, you know what, He makes stuff that I don't necessarily love sometimes. He makes way too much music, or especially in his prime, he's making way too much music. But like that was more of my sensibilities of what a rapper was back then. Like this, I hadn't got hip to the streaming game, and like that's how they hustling. Like they
31.
are making a million records and they put them all out, and so they run up the streams and they can get their, you know, their 4,000ths of a penny per stream.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
You know. But, you know, over time, you know, it's been about 15 years.
Yeah.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
He has too many hot records for me to say otherwise. So, you know, it's one of those things where like, yeah, I would like someone to have some type of, you know, high batting average flawless album catalog, whatever else, but like that's not the game no more.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, even people for him that they figured out that wasn't the game. Like Lil Wayne figured it out before anyone. That wasn't the game. It was put out as many hot records as you can, and then the stuff that doesn't catch on, it'll be forgotten in the wave of hit records you've made.
Man, I was hanging out with my 10-year-old nephew for like a little bit, right? And then like he showed me the Mina doing the Dougie thing, and he's like, "Hey yo, Unc, look at this old school music. This is from back in the day, right? That's back in your day." And I was like, "Nah."
Back in the day, and it's like some 2010, 2011 shit.
But it's true, man. We were saying that back. That's But like, you know, like music evolves, music changes, because like when I'm like you know, when I was 12, 11, like I'm listening to Tupac, Biggie. I'm listening to you know, to Snoop, Corrupt. You know, ain't nobody got love for the West Coast. I mean, I did, but so like I just realized like music changes all the time, because when I listen to like the 80s rap, here is the hippity hip 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 bob, I'm like okay.
I get you. I mean, but there still were people like Big Daddy Kane and people like Rakim. Yeah, that weren't just that. And, you know, and obviously a lot of that was also especially 80s, like. Everybody's yelling on their records. Everybody's yelling. Run DMC's yelling on all their records. LL Cool J's yelling on all his early records. Yeah, that was a big thing, yelling.
Oh man, yeah. Now I'm thinking about the Run DMC. Yeah, Oh my gosh, yeah. Now you just broke me on the on 80s rap about how they would yell, because like
Yeah, that was. I mean, that was just the vibe. Like, if you ever think about it, you go back to listen to like early '90s rap. I mean, hell, even I don't like to talk about him involved in this, but he's a reason why we're here now. A big part of it, even though he's a monster. R. Kelly, when he came out with 12 Play, and he's making the song Summer Bunnies,
Right.
and he's like the enunciation. It sounds like Dre on the Chronic. Like,
yeah,
that was going around, and like what's your girl's name? Is it Queen Pen that was on No Diggity?
yeah.
She's enunciating just like Dre was, and Dre was on the first verse. Like, that was just a sound, just like, so that was like the enunciation thing of the early '90s, and the yelling in the late '80s was a thing. I don't know why that was. I think you would say now is like there was especially a stretch of time in like the 2010s where everybody was rapping on like they had triplet flows when they're rapping.
Yeah.
That definitely was a thing. I don't know, but it's all waves, and all comes back around at some point. But yeah, like it was something I always noticed when I listened to the '80s records. Like, everybody's yelling except for like 4 people.
Yeah, man. That's funny. And like when I talk about like, I know I say this all the time to you and Rich when on your chat stream. I know I pop you on whenever I pop you on the chat. I'm always laughing, but like whenever I say like y'all are the Blackest podcast, I mean that with all the love, because like what you guys do, the Blackest Wrestling podcast, it's like it's all love, because like I was searching for like things to like listen to, right? Because when you're listening for podcasts, you're like, okay, what am I gonna vibe with? What's it gonna think? And then like Rich is one of those guys that I interact with on Discords and all that, and he was one of the coolest dudes. And I knew you had I just listened to your show. I didn't know y'all had a Discord. When I found out y'all got the Discord, and then I was like able to actually interact with both of you, everybody there. And then once I hear the show now, and I like it's representative of like what you guys are, and like I don't think it was your mission to be like, for me, you guys are the best wrestling sports podcast there is, and the best black wrestling podcast there is, because there are other black wrestling podcasts. Shout outs to you, Neil Milton, Chris Ely. I love the NWA podcast. You guys do good work.
Grab City. Yep.
Grab City. Like
Self-made. Yeah.
Self-made.
There's plenty of them out there.
Yeah, they're all good, man. Self-made gets all those short WWE interviews. Am I right? I think, I don't know, but like that stuff is just, it's cool to see like those voices in wrestling and talk, and just to see them and represent, and like have like this sort of like, wrestling isn't just made for one audience, which I think a lot of people think it is, because a lot of the time the tastemakers are just some guy. But what I like is when there's tastemakers of all different like kinds of flavors and colors, like you and Rich have like your review show, like Best in the whatever, Keeping It Strong Style does. Like I gotta listen to it, and I gotta like just tell you guys, like it's such a vibe. God, that's that's such a bad thing for me to say. I hate saying that. It makes me sound like a millennial. No, I'm a millennial. That makes me sound like a Gen Zer. It's such a vibe hearing you guys talk. Like it's literally like I'm you guys are like the voice that's in my head that's played like when I'm having these opinions, and you guys are just like regurgitate. You guys are saying like exactly how I feel when WWE was dead and gone to me. Like, you guys were on that same path. When AEW was fucking up, you guys were on that same path. And I was like, yo, these dudes is legit. They are like the voice. Like, if I would have a voice in like a wrestling podcast, and doing like a weekly thing, trying to keep up with all the damn news, and like doing that when a pay-per-view, like a big pay-per-view is coming up. I don't know how y'all do it. That's crazy to me.
It's not as hectic as it used to be. Like, back when we were, back when there was, we were actually like covering Stardom in New Japan, because so this is basically like 2019 through 2000, let's say 22.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was really like, I mean, for me, it was like I had to keep track of all the stuff. Like, I was doing at that point in time, like 2020, 2021. both years I actually like wrote down like I had like match guides, like any match that I thought was, you know, from a 3.5 stars or higher, like recommended match list or whatever else. I was rating every match I saw that I thought broke that or whatever else. So like it was comprehensive in that way. And then like it got to a point for me where it's like, I don't know if I'm having fun because I don't know if you ever heard this saying, like people say that, or a lot of people will say like that comparison's a thief of joy. So like as I'm out here, you know, splitting hairs between like what is a 4.25 star and a 4.5 star match or whatever else, like you start nitpicking things that you're actually enjoy a lot, and you're like, all right, is this am I even having fun on this basis watching this thing? Like this is a pastime that's supposed to be like a fun. And like I'm watching this match is great, and I'm now like picking that. Now I'm out here like, you know, basically giving the merit points like I'm the Russian judge at the you know for the Olympic Games for gymnastics. I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? So I kind of stopped doing that. And you know, like also you mentioned the, you know, at the beginning of the fitness stuff. Like the fitness stuff has taken some time out of my ability to watch everything in the way that I used to.
That's
and
good,
you
man.
know, like this is a sacrifice I've made, and that's one of the things where it's like I do miss being able to be tapped into everything, but some things are more important. Some things are more important, and like I still get to watch, you know, the things I want to watch, so I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything super important.
Yeah, man. Like, cause I'm gonna shout out my friend, my buddy Pump, cause we were gonna start when I was doing this podcast at the beginning of it. We were like talking like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna cover this, and that, cause like what we loved when when Voices Wrestling used to do is they used to do jumping around the world, right? Where they talk about all the other federations, right? And we're like, okay, yeah, they're not nobody else is covering this stuff, so we'll cover MLW, we'll cover Dragon Gate, we'll cover CMLL, we'll cover IWRG, we'll cover All Japan, like, and I'm like, okay, and then I'm like, nah, fuck that, because like I watch this like for myself. I watch wrestling for myself, right?
Right.
And then like I was like, nah, we can't do it. And then like he was like, all right, and then he whatever when he moved, because he moved somewhere, whatever, and then like I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? 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 And I was talking to Rich for like a long time about like, if I was gonna do something, how would you do it? And then he said to me like, do what you want to do and talk about what you like. And then I was like,
yeah,
okay, yeah. So like so the concept for this show in my head was, what are my favorite things to listen to? I like to listen to people just talk and like just tell each other stories and like give each other like, you know, you pass a little bit of knowledge on, and then that's what's up. I like, okay, yeah, I'll use wrestling as my icebreaker, and then like we'll go from there, because like you see what we're talking about. We're talking about hip hop. I love hip hop.
Yeah.
And like we talk about this stuff, and then like this is, and then like my head, I'm like, yeah, it's great to find out why this guy liked wrestling, but it's also good to find out what makes this person tick, what makes this person what they like. And like I always thank Rich for that. I always tell him like, hey man, you inspired me for doing this, and like you gave me like the courage to do this. And I want to say thank you to you too, James, because you're a part of that. You're a part of that, like letting me know like somebody that looks like me, that talks the way I do, could do a show the way I want to do it. Because, and then I realized there's nobody stopping me from doing that, but I just like having these people that influence me. Like I can do what I want. And I know that's kind of what you guys do, because when you kind of force yourself to get into a box and be like, oh, this is the presentation that people expect out of me, so I better just fit into this, that kind of like traps you. And like my other friend Mara, she actually named the show, because there used to be like the prescription consultation on the wrestling fandom, and then I was like, she's like, no, let's make a prescription. That way, if you ever want to talk about something else, you can, and you're not just a wrestling podcast. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's great. And then here we are, and I just want to say, like, to you, man, like the work that you do, and the network that you guys have is so varied. It's international. There's women on your network. There's everything I'd want to listen to, and like, man, it's what you curate there is awesome. I know it's not you curating it, but just like the community, it's like impeccable. And yeah, man, it's cool. And like I was gonna say like this, because like I said at the beginning of the show, body transformation. This, like, your body transformation, it's like really inspiring, man. And I say like keep going, do you? It's good for you, man. Cause like you're like most guys shave their face and like it's over, like they don't look right, but you shave your face, you still handsome, bro. And I attribute that to like your weight loss and like you see you look good, man. I gotta say you look good.
I appreciate it. It was it was a situation where like I mean it's one of those things where I was a person that used to be in athletics or whatever else. I had a bad back, and then I did CrossFit back in like 2013-14, jacked my back up again. Never figured out how to get it right myself. I'm like a tinkerer type of person. Like I like to know how things work and then work on myself.
Yeah.
So a lot of stubbornness involved in that kind of thing. And then eventually I said, you know what, enough is enough. I'm gonna get physical therapy on my back or whatever else. And like got that done, felt better, got a little bit more help from a different place as far as like finding like almost like a sports masseuse or whatever else to figure out like how to try to figure out like what is bad on me, how I can work on that kind of stuff more specifically than just even PT. And kept up the PT stuff, even though I've been done with it. And then like I found a place that was similar to the CrossFit gym I used to go to because they stopped like having clientele of not casuals, just for wrestling, of civilians, and more went towards youth.
Yeah,
like kids are trying to get to college for playing sports. And I tried to find a place, and then a guy I played high school basketball with was like, they put up their transformation picture, and I was like, oh, this is similar to, there's a lot of carryover from CrossFit. So I ended up going there, and then that was this end of the summer of 2022, and then I'm there ever since.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, like that's kind of what it was. It was just I just like a lot of that also came to do with like wanting to go to Japan really badly, and realizing that me at 6'4" and 330-ish pounds.
I see money in you, brother.
Like that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work in Japan. That ain't gonna work in Tokyo. Yeah. So it was like, all right, well, I use that as like a carrot on the stick to motivate myself to go. So like I started going there, and then by the time I got to Japan, I was 290, which is still gigantic for Tokyo, but I was good, and then came back and started. I picked it where I left off, and I think the week I got there, I was 345, and then after a year later, or 13 months later, I was 245.
Yeah.
Now, but that was the one after a specific look.
Yo.
Like I'm way bigger than that now. Like I'm in the 280s now.
Yeah.
But that's because I pretty much started powerlifting again, which was another thing. And I was like, it's cool to go do the CrossFit stuff or whatever, or not CrossFit, but like this boot camp fitness or whatever else. But like, depending on what boot camp you go to, you're missing out on certain things. And like, this is a place that did a lot of dumbbell work. So I missed barbell lifting. So I ended up started this year going back to like a LA Fitness and just started powerlifting again. So I've been having more fun this year.
That's cool, man. Back at the beginning of the decade, I was like 300 pounds, like 5'9", 300 pounds. That's different from 6'4", 300 pounds. So like,
yeah, but it's still an issue. But
yeah. What I did when I had to lose weight originally, like I did the whole, I tried to eat better, but like I ended up doing like jujitsu, and then I found a coach there that trained me to do like HIIT exercises, like, and then like that's how I lost my weight. And also I did a lot of competing in jujitsu, so that's kind of what it is. So like whenever I see someone's like weight loss journey, I'm always cheering them on. And like when you kept talking about it, because I remember like 2022, you kept talking about like, oh, I'm going to this boot camp like on the show, and then and like I see like through the years, like you just, man, talking about sexy James, we talk about Nihon James, we talk about Nihonian silk James, and like having you, like seeing you and seeing your journey and seeing the progress, I to quote one, Yuto Ice, big ups. And yeah, man, that's enlightening. And when you talk about going to Japan, and I'm gonna talk a little about nerd stuff, because I know like Rich never talks about nerd stuff because he says like, what is that?
He doesn't. The only nerd stuff Rich ever got into was like apparently like pretty much like Rocky lore and like Mortal Kombat lore, which for me is like shocking because like Mortal Kombat's lore and storyline stuff is not really good, but like he's really into it. And every time they go a new game, he's down to learn about like how they rebooted it, revamped it, or whatever else, or retconned it. And I'm just like, this ain't even, bro. If you like this, I could give you something to go check out, bro. I promise you. But you know, he just didn't grow up on the cartoons or the comic books. It is what it is.
Yo, if you like Mortal Kombat, I got this show Yu Yu Hakusho that's right up your alley. It's got the tournament. It's got the spirit gun. It's got dudes who look cool. Like, yo, I love Yu Yu Hakusho. That's my shit. And like when you make those like references, and then like he's like, what? And I'm like, oh man.
I'm constantly having to explain it to him. And it's funny. Like I think that's part of the charm of the show is like there's gonna be things that like I know that Rich don't know and Rich knows that I don't. And then like the part where it's like, how did this person miss this in life or whatever else? And then like the other person has to explain it. I kind of find that to be funny and charming part of the show, honestly.
Yeah, like because I do have friends that are because I'm in the fighting game scene. I used to play fighting games. Like I used to go to tournaments like back in like when I was a teenager. So like I do have friends that were like, you know, there's Tekken people, there's Mortal Kombat people, and there's Street Fighter people. I'm one of the Street Fighter people.
I never got into Tekken. It looks cool as hell. I just was never good at it. I never like really played it much. But like mine was, you know, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and Killer Instinct.
Yeah, because I love Mortal Kombat. My grandma, like, one of my favorite gifts for Christmas, because me and my brother we're born like in January, right? So not only do we have to share a birthday gift, since my birthday is so close to Christmas or during Christmas, we have to share the Christmas gift also. So when my grandma, rest in peace, Nanang, like she was like, oh, what do you boys want? And then I'd be like, Nanang, I want me and my brother, we want Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. And she was like, oh, okay. And then like, so
did she realize what she was getting y'all?
No, of course not.
Fatality. What's this? Oh no! What is all this blood and gore and executions? No, hell no.
Yeah, because like I remember that we got Ultimate Mortal Kombat because we share, because you know we're poor. We shared our Super Nintendo with our other cousins. Our other cousins got like, no, I mean our other cousins had Super Nintendo too because they also got out the back of a truck. But they got Killer Instinct. We got Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. So that Christmas was fire. so like my grandma's sitting there like, oh, okay, I'm gonna watch my boys play what they like to play, right? And then you know you do a fatality in Killer Instinct or Mortal Kombat, and she's like, what did I buy you? What is this game? How come you cut his head off, huh? What's that? And like, but what are your grades? Oh, you got straight A's? Oh, you got straight A's? Oh, okay, you guys can play.
Let it slide. That's cool. That's cool.
Because like all of us were like, hey, yo, Nanang's only gonna get this for us if we get straight A's. So we all better get straight A's at least for like before the winter. So when we show her our report cards, she'll be like, okay. So you imagine like this like super Catholic Christian Filipino lady going to the store. Okay, I'm going to get Killer Instinct and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3.
Gotta get someone to get out the case from behind the case too.
Yeah, because like you gotta be an adult, and so like when we both open, we're like, alright, we gotta open it. So we opened it, like we like the joy of having those two games, and then just like the look on our grandma when she saw all the blood in both games. Both games were bloody.
Right.
But like the children, like the both games were bloody. So like, and back then like we had like all the news was like, oh, bloody games that's gonna turn your children into violent people. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
So, but like just the joy that we had to open and see both of those games like for Christmas, that was like something that sticks with me, and I just wanted to talk about it because I love that stuff, man. And like when it comes to Tekken, I am also not good at Tekken, especially the new one, and I'm just like, I'm not saying like I do say it. My boys, I did a podcast with my fighting game friends. I do get salty when I play Tekken because I lose, and I'm like, okay, then let's put in Street Fighter. Let's see what happens. And of course,
yeah,
you know
that's how I go. If people start talking shit back and forth about I'm better at video game, and he was like, nah, man, like this game might be more suited to you right now, or I haven't been playing it, and then people start yapping back and forth, and then it makes you want to get
Yeah.
makes you want to start talking shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it, absolutely get it.
And then you want to talk about nerd shit? Like, I, with my friends, we created the anime club in our high school.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so like we're like, okay, so we need somewhere where we can play Yu-Gi-Oh, somewhere where we can play Marvel vs. Capcom and Smash Brothers after school or during school. And like we said, okay, let's make anime club. We talked to our teacher who was a nerd, and he's like, oh, you guys love Yu-Gi-Oh too, and of course he was like the sponsor for a thing, and I was like, now that's what I was known for with my other nerd friends. They also happen to be black nerds. Shout out to you, Reggie, Jeremiah, all of you, like, because so we like would use that excuse to like bring like our Dreamcast and just play like Marvel versus Capcom 2 and then just have like little tournaments. And that's also like a part of like the communities I was in. It's like wrestling and fighting game communities. There's a lot of crossover there because there's a lot of community there. And there's like the community online. You see it with Kenny Omega.
yeah.
I have played Kenny Omega in Street Fighter, and he dusted me. So shout out to you, Kenny. And that was before. That was like when he was in DDT, and like we were playing. I think I was playing him like on Street Fighter 4. And I was like, oh, are you, I think I DM'd was like, are you the Kenny Omega? Because he would come to PWG from time to time. He's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna kick your ass. And then like he was like, nope, perfect. I was like, damn. But yeah, man. It's good to have somebody to talk about this stuff with you because I love the crossover in fandoms that we have. I love finding out like all the stuff we have in common because you're wearing a Wolverine shirt right now, and Wolverine is to any kid in the 90s. Okay, there's two superheroes really. There's Wolverine and there's Batman, and you are on one side or the other. But I loved Wolverine and Batman, but I loved Wolverine, especially in X-Men the animated series with that with that voice. Come on, bub. Like, let's do it for Morph. Like that voice is like
Morph. That's right, Morph. That made up character they did for the animated series. It's the thing that's funny for me is like when you go back and you think about it, like there's so many I guess tropes would be the word.
Yeah.
That you don't when you're young you don't really pick up, and then you're older you're like, huh, okay. Like the idea of there being like a Leonardo and a Raphael, a Goku and a Vegeta, a Cyclops and a Wolverine, a John Cena and a CM Punk. Like there's always that of like there is the straight lace guy, the Herb, if you will, whatever you want to call him, cornball. Ernest got a Batman and a Superman and a Batman, right?
Yeah.
The Boy Scout and the Rebel, and it's always like you're. For me, like it's always interesting to see that dichotomy of like, all right, like who actually is really good, and then once you get rid of like the who's willing to bend the rules a little bit to accomplish the same goals, and we find that person's willing to bend them same rules, just more fun, just flat out more entertaining.
Yeah,
Person is more skewed towards an anti-hero is always going to be more entertaining, and I never really, you find that you figure that stuff out in media, and you're just like, oh, okay. It's just how it just works out that way in all these different things. It always does.
Yeah, I personally speaking, I love Kid Goku, but I am a Vegeta guy through and through.
Yeah.
Like
all those instances I said.
Yeah.
Look,
I'm a Vegeta
Batman over Superman, Vegeta over Goku, Raphael over Leonardo, Wolverine over Cyclops, all those, all of them.
But I am Piccolo over both of them because I'm a Piccolo guy.
That's fine.
Like in Dragon Ball Fighter
Same thing. Villain that eventually gets added to the Z Fighters and has an edge to him. Yeah.
When somebody made that meme of Swerve as Piccolo, I was like, oh shit. Because Piccolo's Piccolo's always doing like the cross arm pose, right?
With
and
the
then
smile.
With the smile. Like, yeah. And then like Swerve does that. And I know Swerve is like, I know he's kind of nerdy. He came out as Static Shock. Shouts to that.
Right. He was Mr. Terrific at the last show.
Yeah. I was like, oh man. Like people pointed out to me. I was like, oh, that's Mr. Terrific. And like I was like, yeah, that dude's a nerd. He has to be. Maybe he'll be on the next season of Peacemaker. Who knows? But like, imagine that.
That'd be funny.
Hey, Swerve as adult as adult static on Peacemaker, make that happen. James Gunn, make that happen. I need my boy to get that money and get that paper, get that DC WB paper. And like we compare, like even in wrestling, right? Swerve, Hangman, and Osprey, and Osprey's the cornball, and Swerve and Hangman is the ones who like does whatever it takes to finish.
Yeah, yeah,
yo,
yeah.
It all fits.
I mean, Osprey had. I think Osprey, if he had started at the launch, could have been kind of stuck into that. But I think the part where like we saw Cody in AEW first.
Yeah.
Like Cody is absolutely the Boy Scout of
Yeah.
AEW. He's no longer with us. He's just over there in the other promotion. But yeah, I mean, of those three that you mentioned, yeah, he is Osprey is the Boy Scout of them three because you know Swerve. Look, Hangman. For much people want to say Hangman does no or do the whole thing. Of, he did nothing wrong. It's like that man injected something, whatever we don't even know what that was into Swerve and that lights out cage match, and then he burned that man's house down.
Hey, look,
yeah,
you know,
dark places.
You know, I'm about to put my pyramid hat on. I'm about to talk like my brothers out there because you know what they say is the man brought AIDS to the black community.
Oh shit!
And, you know,
that man with HIV. Oh, I have not heard that. I have not heard that one before. Jesus Christ.
And I don't trust that man. That Hangman.
Shit.
They talk about that word, the man, and he calls himself the Hangman. What is he doing? Ladies and gentlemen, you gotta open your third eye.
That would.
Yo, I'm just
a black wrestler hangs a white wrestler nicknamed the Hangman in a match, and then a year later, the white man fights back by
burning his house down.
By burning his house down, like Tulsa, Oklahoma. And
oh, hey, we're talking about Rosewood. We're talking about Black Wall Street.
Right, burns down Black Wall Street. And then proceeds to as you said, injected this man with AIDS. Oh my God!
Foul.
Jesus,
Hangman, you
dark.
foul.
Jesus.
You foul for that Hangman. I gotta say for. Oh my God!
Shit.
When people hear this, they're gonna be like, they're gonna come for me. That's okay. That's okay.
Let me just shit post it right now. It's cool.
Yeah. And like. Yeah, man, this is tremendous. This is tremendous, man. Like, when I get to talk about this kind of stuff, make that reference to Hotep conspiracy. That's not a conspiracy. That's actually just like the white man bought crack cocaine.
Oh, I mean, look, we're joking about real things that happen. Not the hangman part, but like what the man did. Like, yeah, those are real things that happen.
This is the
like I did not make up them bombing Philadelphia in the 80s. I didn't make that up.
Yeah,
the row houses. I didn't make that up.
They bombed those houses to clear it out and to get rid of that neighborhood. And like I think like they keep a skeleton, someone's remains in that museum. They have someone's remains from that bombing in a museum. I'm like, yo, that's fucked up. Damn, we got dark. But you know,
it started with Hangman Page.
Hey yo, and you know, in my community, my wife always says I'm dark skinned. I know right now the light's hitting me the right way, and I know like I have this beautiful dark skinned chocolate man in front of me. This chocolate skyscraper, and like I appreciate you, brother. So like there's so much that like I love getting into with you guys when I get on the stream, and like I love interacting with that dude. That everybody that's on the stream, that you know who y'all are, and you guys say some crazy stuff on there.
Slash sizes and uncontrollable.
And like it's just like
unhinged.
Yeah, bro. They like the live chat for One Nation Radio is a different universe than the Discord. I want to let y'all know, so you should have some fun when you go on. Please, I'm telling you right now, when the next time that One Nation Radio airs live every Thursday, One Nation Radio, please go to their Twitch, twitch.com.
Appreciate the plug.
I always plug. Go to twitch.com. Watch James and Rich live. Join in on the fun on that live chat. See the crazy stuff people say, because like it gets ooh. And I'm part of the problem, I know, but
Yes, you definitely are.
So, but like it is what it is.
But y'all do make the show better.
Yeah,
Y'all do make the show better.
and like maybe one day I'll do that. Or maybe one day I'll do a live stream. But like, I love having this like one-on-one, tete-a-tete like conversation because like you really get to know like somebody about who they are, what the vibes are, and like hopefully one day I get to have you and Rich on at one time, or maybe you, Rich, Jeremy, and Joshua, the man who's white when it's convenient, on the show.
Josh has told me a few times that people didn't realize, like they didn't realize until later that he was white. And I was like, I just find it to be hilarious. How the anonymity of the internet can make you anything in anyone's mind until they see the pictures. They're like, oh, okay. I just find that to be funny.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not
Josh
saying
Smith. Josh Smith is a name that you'd be like, oh, that could definitely be a black person. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but like he's actually he is Latino, he is also native. So like when I think about your network, like I think about like the diversity of it, and like y'all four are like, and like the people before you too. Like it's all love for me because like I love this, that we're able to have this kind of community, this kind of radio network in pro wrestling that that celebrates diverse voices, and it's dope, man. I gotta tell you, it's dope. It's everything that I think about when I want to think about like pro wrestling and where pro wrestling is now. And like when we look at pro wrestling now and look at like compared to where we were in the 90s for representation, because like the Samoans back in the 90s, what were they doing? They were the head shrinkers, eating chickens, walking barefoot. Like,
or they were in yellow face being Japanese sumo wrestlers.
Yeah, they were Japanese. When we think about like black wrestlers, they were always from the ghetto. They were always from Harlem. Everybody's from Harlem, and you
call them Houston Heat, huh?
Yeah. Hey, Houston also gets down, but like Harlem. That's where
it just the fact that these are two brothers that are brothers from Houston, Texas. They were like, no, not black enough. Harlem.
Yo. And
like we gotta get the alliteration, and it has to be blacker than Houston, Texas, which is black as hell. We gotta make it Harlem. Like, yeah.
Come on, man. Like, how does that make? But we're not the bookers. We like think about this stuff, like, because I just watched something like on My Brother and Me, right? I watched like because I don't know. For those who don't know, My Brother and Me was like it was a African American sitcom in the 90s on Nickelodeon. But the difference was it was out before Smart Guy. I think it was out at the same time as like Sister, where they showcased a nuclear black family, and apparently it tested. The executive said that it wasn't black enough because they were too put together. They were, and like,
which is funny because like, okay, what's like one of the like ratings dominators of the 80s, the Cosbys.
Yeah.
not to speak on the Cosby. Look, we talked about another monster. We talked about R. Kelly earlier. We talked about another monster in Bill Cosby with Jesus. But yeah, you have points like. I'm gonna go for number 3. Two shows of put together black families. Oh no, can't have that. Can't have that.
So like,
can't have airwaves.
Yeah, so like it got canceled, but then when it went into like replays on Nickelodeon, it would get these high ass ratings. Mm-hmm. So it was like. I was like, when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, this family with like Dee and Alfie and whatever, Goo coming over. I gotta say, man, you kind of look like an adult Goo, a little bit. I'm just joking.
Do I?
No, I'm just joking. But like, like it reminded me of my friend's family because they were also like middle class. There was also like, there was two of them, big brother, little brother. Mm-hmm. Like we was just like, yeah, like, and I just think like in the 90s, like about how everything was like. No, everything has to be a certain way because these executives decided this is what plays to the audiences, and now we got Samoans from the Bay Area acting like Samoans from the Bay Area. we got black people acting. We got so many different kinds of black people. We got the New Day, the Suburban. We got Swerve, this killer. We got we got every kind of flavor you want, and then of course we got like 5 different LWOs running around in WWE. So it's just like it's cool right now in pro wrestling to have all this kind of diversity. It's crazy, and like to have like one of the most over people in the world right now, in the world of pro wrestling is Io Sky, like a Japanese woman who barely speaks English, and she's like one of the most like over like people overacts, and I think that's great. You know, it's so good to have that, and like to see an Okada, to see a Takeshita, to see like Yuta, to see Swerve, to see Ricochet, see Gates of Agony, and I know y'all hate them. I know y'all y'all can't stand them, but to see the Hurt Syndicate,
we don't hate them. We don't want to hate them. And we don't. We just don't like what they're doing and what they're contributing as far as the give and take of a pro wrestling program. They're not doing real programs with anybody.
yeah,
Like this, this Wednesday appears to be the first time it looks like they're actually doing a real program with somebody that you guys sit your teeth into and be like, hey, win or lose, they actually told a story and they actually had to give up something in terms of getting to it or getting out of it.
hey, the rumor was they wanted to lose to them clean, so let's see. If they do it, then okay, bet. And like, but just to have, just that part, right? That they can they can say no, and they can be like assholes about it, and like there could be like so many different like representations of all these different cultures in pro wrestling right now, and like one of the most powerful men in wrestling is a brown man, Tony Khan.
Yeah.
You know how like crazy this would sound to like me in the 2000s. Like how crazy it is, just like this Pakistani dude is the second most powerful man in pro wrestling, and that's cool as hell, man. That's cool as hell to me. Just to have that now, where we're at in the world now, that we can have this, and I hope it gets better. And I want to say part of that also is the diversity in the fan base being exemplified by you guys and your podcast network. It's great. It's great. I don't feel like I'm lost anymore, because I used to feel when I was listening to wrestling podcasts and I fell off on them. Like I used to feel like, man, what the heck can I listen to? Because I love this, I like getting this news, but like the people giving it, I can't really. What's the word?
Would you actually relate or listen to any of them in any other format other than the overlap of pro wrestling?
Hell no.
Like there's plenty of people I'm listening to. I can hear them the way they talk about people, and I'm like. I think if we were talking about anything else other than whatever topic we were talking about, we were talking about politics, we were talking about current events, we would not get along at all. And look, sometimes you get outside your bubble and maybe see things that you may not be fully, you may not see the full picture of, and you need another perspective or whatever else. They actually get a further understanding and actually test, what your thoughts and opinions are, put into test. But when when there's certain things like, all right, I don't really, some of this stuff is like, if I don't think you care about, if I think you care about a ban on people coming into this country, then I don't think you're going to care about international talent coming into wrestling. It just kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah,
it's kind of works like if I have an idea what your politics are. You kind of figure out where people have these shortcomings in their thoughts on things. So yeah, for me it was just like, yeah, I get it exactly. Like you kind of like I can listen to them, they have valuable information, but like, do I actually trust them fully?
Yeah, like
I get you.
Yeah,
I definitely get you.
Like what's a lesson from sinners? Don't let them in.
That's one of the things for me was like when it came down as I've gotten older, when it came to like having to let go of we were talking about this, like another entity of this is like ESPN. Like ESPN has gotten so far into like the bro culture of podcasting in the manosphere, whereas like, hey man, like every show is, or most of these shows are now broed out as less, or is one of the debate shows where it's like, what happened to the shows when I don't want to do back when I grew up, but like there were shows that were informative, or they weren't flat out just all opinion based. They were more of a information, giving you information as opposed to like slanted commentary. So for me, it's like I miss that as opposed to one of the talking heads, they're doing a bit because like they realize they got some traction on online and engagement by pissing someone off, so they continue the bit for years upon years. Like that's what the Skip Bayless thing is. It's like, yeah, this guy LeBron is clearly going to be possibly the greatest basketball player of all time. You know what? I'm going to say no while he's in like year 3 and shit on him for the rest of the next 17 years and keep continuing as my bit as my platforms get smaller and smaller and smaller. And now I'm doing an online show with like Aqib Talib. No, not against Aqib because he's an athlete, but like I'm not even on TV anymore. Like, so it's like that has been like a part of along with the internet and Twitter being this place where you get, the algorithm drives everything. Like, it's a harder place to actually find valuable content that you might find valuable for yourself.
Yeah,
it just is. So that's one of those things now. It's one of those things that it's not just pro wrestling; it's everything.
Yeah, and that's why I say that One Nation Radio is my favorite sports and wrestling podcast, available on all podcast formats.
Appreciate the plug again.
Yo, I am nothing but a plug machine to try to get my people's their money and the attention that they deserve. Please go to their store. Please buy a shirt. Please buy a sweater. Buy that sweater that says, with that pyramid on it, because I love that. I love the opening. I love y'all's opening. Rich those beats, rich those bars. I love all that. And like I always ask like this question on every show. Like I know we dealing with a sexy slim James right now, but
a slim 280.
Hey, I was about to say sexy flexy James. God.
You should see the chat that some of our like local friends are in as far that like wrestling, like people like Keeping It Strong Style, me and Rich, and then like some of our guys who used to go to like the NXT shows in the Largo Loop down here and like we all kind of keep track of ourselves and our progress as far as fitness or nutrition and health. And it's one chat, and like at the gym I go to, like every blue moon they'll snap a video of me or whatever else working out.
Yeah.
And like one of our friends, Dan Coffin, he'll go on there, and every time he sees something funny or whatever else involving me or just in general, he'll post the video in there or whatever else. And like, yeah, it's all like I want to say every other week or something. It's something funny. Like the other day, like they saw me doing a push or basically shoulder to overheading 50-pound dumbbells.
Yeah.
And they were like, "You look like a He-Man." I was like, or he said, I forgot exactly the phrase, but he said something like, "I look like a He-Man." I'm like, I don't think so, but I appreciate the compliment. I'm not good at taking compliments, so you do hit me with all this stuff. You have me over here blushing half the time. So I don't even know what to do.
Hey man, you're humble. You stay humble. That's cool, man. Like, and then I'm like, when I always make this joke because that's why I call you a skyscraper, chocolate skyscraper. Mm-hmm. Man, that'd be a cool ass name for a wrestler. If you were gonna be a wrestler,
I think that more sounds like a move.
Oh, hey, let's see if we can get like, yeah, okay. I think
like a top rope dive or something like that or whatever, some combination move. Like let's say it was like a tag team and like one guy jumped off, another guy jumped off a tall, like I don't know. If someone were to jump off, let's say if it was a tag team of like, almost, and like, let's say it was Xavier.
Yeah.
Right? He jumps off his shoulder. You'd be like, yeah, that's a skyscraper or something like that.
Oh, okay. That's dope. My question for you is, man, what's your favorite dessert? Because I know you're on this diet kick, you're on this healthy living, you're on this workout stuff, but like, if you're going to have a dessert, if you're gonna have this cheat meal, I don't know if you're gonna have a cheat meal like The Rock has cheat meals, but what is your gonna be?
I'm a binge eater, so like on the weekends I'm doing the Rock thing, except I'm doing it way more often than The Rock. So okay, will you consider a Rice Krispie treat a dessert, or we consider it just like a sweet treat?
Yeah, anything sweet.
Like, okay, so like a Rice Krispie treat, except not Rice Krispies, but like with Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh. Man, that's a sugar bomb. I got the sugar.
Yeah.
So whenever I ask this question,
I got into the habit of making those like every weekend for a few months, and I started putting back on some pounds. I was like, let me take that out. Like I haven't had any in like maybe like I don't think I've had any this year. But yeah, I used to make a whole tray of me, eat the whole damn thing over the weekend.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch marshmallow treat. Oh man, my
Yes.
wife does that, but she crunches up a bag of Ruffles, and uses the Ruffles with the marshmallows on there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, she
Okay.
loves doing that. And it's torture because she only like lets me have like 2 bars, and like she's watching me because she loves me. I'm her husband. She's like, you can only have 2, because I don't want you to die. And I'm like, but I gotta live life to the fullest sometimes. And I gotta say, James, like, bro, it's like it's tremendous to have you on here. I appreciate like you giving me your time and all this stuff. And like,
Mhm.
it's like it's funny how wrestling works, right? It's funny how the internet works because like I wouldn't have talked to you if you didn't like wrestling and I didn't like wrestling.
Mhm.
And that's like the main through line for that I have in this like podcast thing is most of the people I interviewed here I met because we have a shared interest in pro wrestling. And like I think that what you guys do with your show connecting people and what you guys do on your Discord connecting people, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's what I look for in what we have trying to build a community for fans and what you do. And did you want to get your plugs in, brother? Because I've been plugging you all day.
I mean, you
but
gave
I need,
all the plugs. I mean,
hey,
I
you gotta
outside of
y'all gotta plug your
outside
merch.
of honestly, like my Twitter account, which is like JamesBoyd87. That's about it. And honestly, like I kind of don't want my Twitter to blow up because you see the stuff Rich be dealing with every blue moon. That ain't like Rich is for all that kind of foolishness. I'm not really with it. I kind of just want to say my little jokey joke in my circle, and it stays in my circle. Like it's something like I want to say a year or so ago, I had a Dump Masamoto tweet about her matches not holding up to the test of time on rewatch, like with modernized. Like it got out of my circle and it was upset with me, and I was like, hey man, I get you upset, but like you ain't reply back with no matches.
That's true. Like if I was gonna record to give you like a Dump Matsumoto match, it's gonna be that the one that she had in that retirement match she had, but also there's a match in
Wait, Dump retirement match. She's still active.
yeah, not well, like the one that they had on that TV show where like she's making that one girl bleed, and then all man, what is
Was
it?
it a hair match?
Yeah, the hair match.
Okay, so so my first time ever watching a full Dump Matsumoto match was the first hair match. I was so thoroughly. It's a long story. Basically, what happened was I read the Observer after the Tam and Julia hair match from Budokan Hall in 2021 in March, and Meltzer was like he gave it 4 and I think he gave it 4 3/4 or 4.5. Can't remember which one. And then his response was that like it can't, because at that point in time it's still the pandemic era. So it's a clap crowd, and he's like it holds nothing in comparison to the reactions that the Chigusa Nagayo and Dump match had. And I was like, all right, let me pull that up and watch it on YouTube. Pulled it up and watched it. I was like, he's absolutely right. That's one of the all-time crowds. That's one of the best crowds I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, the
But
decibels
it's one
they
of
hit
those
is crazy.
but it's one of those 80s wrestling matches where it's like it's a lot of just hanging around, not doing much. And I was just like, I can't believe, like, he's right about the crowd, but like as far as like which match was better, like if you put it, like, it ain't even no comparison. It's just not. Like, I understand that they got blood or whatever else, but it's like it ain't like Chigusa was necessarily Lioness Asuka. She was a great wrestler, but it wasn't like she was the cream of the crop of the of the 80s in her time. She was really good and was a big star, of course, but like it was, she just wasn't like the cream of the crop as far as like she just wasn't Lioness Asuka. That's the best way to put it. And then like Dump compared to obviously Aja Asia. I say Asia because I'm doing now Asia Wilson and Aja Kong and also Dump. I'm not Dump, but oh my god, I'm blanking on Bull Nakano. Is like those two were way better on the hillside in that era too. So compared to Dump too, so it's I'm like, when I watch their matches, I'm just like, cool, but like I'd rather see the Chigusa and Devil Masami stuff because that was better. It just was when you watch what Modernized, it's better to watch.
They're dumping each other on their heads with like these like tiger suplexes, dragon suplexes. They're doing like power bombs, like they're doing this stuff in 1984, bro. Like
yeah,
I love this stuff, man. I love talking
Yeah,
pro
yeah.
wrestling.
They're like, and that's the thing that's also even compared to today's standard. Like one thing I just noticed is like when you watch All Japan 80s and 90s, it's like the athletes are flat out bigger. Now, but not only are they bigger, they move just as fast.
Yeah.
And that's the part that really grabs you. Is like it's not necessarily like, look, there ain't outside of a Momoe Nakanishi or whatever else, like not many of them are like as fully skilled, the full complement of skills of being a well-rounded wrestler as far as air, ground, running the ropes, selling, all that kind of stuff. They're more well-rounded maybe now. And also their pacing's better, obviously, because you have to move faster now today.
Yeah.
But just the movement, like the athletes are just flat out better athletes. Like if it was a situation where like, all right, almost like a football analogy, like all right, you get up high school football, the first few kids get off the bus are normally like the biggest kids, so you kind of gauge them like, all right, how do you really want to do this, right? Like when Aja Kong or Ito, or Hokuto or even Manami Toyota, who's 5'6", get off the bus and it's like, all right, now it's like, all right, the biggest badass in the Storm locker room is Shuri, and she's a UFC fighter, but she's 5'4", right? Like it's just like it's just different level of athletes. But that for me when I watch 90s and 80s All Japan, like that's impressive to me. Just like they had freaks.
Yeah.
They had freaks.
They
were super innovative.
Oh,
it's
man.
just modern times are always gonna have the advantages over the past times.
Yeah,
is what it is.
Because they were being recruited from high school sports, from like volleyball, basketball, all that.
Yep.
To come in and do that work. And nowadays, like we don't really get that many athletes transfer. I think
you get a lot of, or you get some, but a lot of them is idols that weren't going to make it.
Yeah.
But like you do get every blue moon you do get an Utami. You do get that. Yeah.
Oh, man, Utami, why did you leave, my girl? Why did you leave?
I think she probably thought that she was never going to get pushed at the top again.
Probably.
And I wish that she had waited at least. I feel like don't you feel like her the year-long 18-month 2-year storyline of her and Kamatani like fighting for the red belt. I feel like we were robbed of that. Like, I haven't seen them together for so long as a tag team and in Queen's Quest, and then Tommy leaves, and then like now it's Kamatani. Like we were supposed to get that from 2023, and we were supposed to be getting that still now.
Yeah.
And I feel like I got robbed of it.
Yeah.
That would have been so great to have seen.
Yeah.
It really would have been.
But who knows what the future may bring, since you didn't want to do it earlier, I'll do it. Choptees.com. Look up One Nation Radio. They got all them shirts over there. One of my favorite shirts is the pyramid, because when you're talking about One Nation Radio, you talk about the power of the pyramid. And and I know I asked you this, and I asked this for everybody, like, say a rainbow appeared out of the sky with a message from James Boyd. What would that rainbow say?
What would it say? I don't know. Probably it might be something like be more positive or be more patient, something like that.
All right, that's good. Yeah, be more positive.
It's probably something that's like, hey, you need to be trying to be more virtuous, something along those lines. Because I know, I tend to be the more grumpy person when you listen to One Nation Radio.
Hey,
so that's something that I've always tried to, or something I lose sight of a lot of times. Like, hey, James, you can kind of be a grump or not temperamental. That's not the word, but like skew negative. Try to be more focused on positivity.
Hey, man, like I said at the beginning, I'm a Vegeta guy. Vegeta's got those like, you idiot, calls Goku an idiot all the time. Says like, fine, I'll take care of this shit, and he's always pissed off. But like, I vibe with that because sometimes I feel like I'm a Vegeta having to deal with all these dumbass Gokus. So, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do all this work, but he's gonna get the credit for it because he just comes in at the end and takes I'm talking about Tournament of Power. That was 2018. I'm talking about booking. Vegeta did all that work on Jiren and all that, and then who comes and then who comes and takes the glory? Android 18. He just goes ahead and just Android 17. He goes ahead and just takes that glory. He wins that tournament power. Man, I would have booked that differently. But yeah, James, it's been cool to have you on this show. Hopefully, I get to talk with you again one day, because like I know I've been trying to make this happen, and like, ladies and gentlemen, James is a hard man to get a hold of because he's a busy man. He's got this life. He does what he wants to do. So like, I'm just happy I was able to get him, and yeah, man, I just want to say I feel blessed to have this talk, to like say like I talked to James Boyd, and he's exactly what I thought he would be: a good man, a kind man, a strong man, sexual chocolate, my chocolate skyscraper. Thank you for coming, man.
No problem. Thanks for having me on. I was like, I was apprehensive coming on to this. I didn't know what this was going to be exactly, because I was just like, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I didn't get any I didn't get any advance warning, but like sitting down doing is like, is one of those like, oh, this is a breeze. So yeah, anytime, man.
Yeah. I think whenever I sit down with somebody and they're like, a lot of people say like, what am I going to say? What are we going to talk about? I was like, don't worry, I got you. Because one of my favorite assets of a pro wrestler is somebody who can carry and like get the best out of everybody that they're working with. And we talk about like a Will Ospreay. Are we talking about like one of my favorite carriers is Pac or Kenny Omega, or like, if I'm gonna go to Stardom, like I'm not sure if I'd call her a carrier, but like Syuri was great.
She's a carrier.
Momo Kogo is excellent. Sari is great at this. I see like like Mercedes Moné. Like, my whole thing on this is to display my guest as the best way possible, and like I'm just lucky to have someone that's like so smooth and so good on the mic. This chocolate skyscraper, and I just gotta say thank you, man.
No problem, man.
私、リンゴ